I am 23 male, grew up in a middle-class family where money was always a little tight, but my parents made sure to set aside a college fund for me. At least, that's what I was told my whole life. I never planned to use it right away. After high school, I joined the military to gain experience and save money for my future. I had the GI Bill to help with school, but I always figured that fund would be a nice cushion, maybe for grad school, a down payment on a house, or emergencies. I never touched it, never even asked about it. Then, one day, my dad called me while I was stationed overseas. He rarely called unless something was wrong, so I answered, thinking it was an emergency. "Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up," he said, way too casual for what came next. "I had to use your college fund to pay off some loans. You didn't need it anyway, right? You have a GI Bill." I just sat there, phone pressed to my ear, waiting for the punchline. It didn't come. "You did what?" I finally said. "I used it," he repeated. "It was just sitting there. I had some debts to take care of. No big deal. No big deal." This man had taken my entire college fund, the money that had been meant for my future, and used it for himself. Without asking, without telling me, without even considering that maybe, just maybe, I had plans for it. I took a breath, forcing my voice to stay steady. "Good luck with that," I said. Then I hung up. He thought that was the end of it. I made sure it wasn't. First thing I did was check the bank records. I had never looked into the account because, again, I trusted that the money was there. Turns out that was a mistake. It was a custodial account under his name, meaning he had control of it until I turned 21. But here's the kicker. I was 23. That money should have already been transferred to me. I requested bank statements and transaction histories. What I found made my blood boil. He hadn't just used the money for loans. He had drained it over the past few years on vacations, a new truck, home renovations, and who knows what else. The money that was meant for my education, money I never touched, had been spent like it was his personal slush fund. I called a lawyer. At first, I wasn't sure if I had a case. But once my lawyer looked over the evidence, he told me I had a solid case for financial misconduct and even embezzlement. Since my father had intentionally kept the money from me after I turned 21 and spent it for non-essential personal expenses, he was in serious legal trouble. So I sued him. When he got served, he lost it. He called me immediately, furious. "You're suing me? Over money? After everything I've done for you?" I let him rant, let him throw every insult and guilt trip he could think of. Then, when he finally stopped to take a breath, I said, "It wasn't your money." Click. That set off a firestorm. He called my mom, my grandparents, even my commanding officer, telling everyone that I was being greedy and trying to ruin his life over a misunderstanding. He spun it as if he had borrowed the money and planned to pay it back. He played the victim, acting like he was just a struggling father doing his best. We didn't tell them. He had stolen over $60,000 from me. My lawyer was ruthless. Since my dad had lied and used the money for personal luxuries, he was legally required to pay it all back, with interest. The court didn't take kindly to financial exploitation, especially from a parent to a child. The judge ruled in my favor. He was ordered to repay every cent. But since he had spent it all, he had to sell his truck and refinance the house just to cover the debt. And because I wasn't feeling particularly forgiving, I pushed for criminal charges too. The DA took an interest in the case, and my father ended up with a felony charge for financial fraud. He lost everything. His job? Gone. His reputation? Destroyed. His relationship with me? Dead. My mom tried to defend him at first, but when she saw the proof, she went quiet. She didn't leave him, but I could tell their relationship was never the same. A year later, he was still struggling. He had to take a lower-paying job, and from what I heard, he was drowning in debt. He still played the victim, telling everyone his son had betrayed him over a little money. But no one really bought it. People always say revenge isn't worth it, that you should take the high road. But sometimes, justice is the best revenge of all. If you like this, hit that subscribe button. Unlike my father, I won't steal from you. I'll just keep bringing the drama.